Welcome to Living Life with James, the podcast where real stories and real conversations help us to make sense of life. From personal journeys to expert advice, each episode gives you something useful, whether it's a new way to think about things, a helpful tip, or just a reminder that you're not in this alone. Let's keep growing, keep connecting, and keep living life together. Today on Living Life with James, I'm joined by someone whose work lives at the intersection of grit, grace, and deep healing. Terra Schaad is the founder of Hunkapi Programs, which is a sanctuary where horses, humans, and heart-centered therapy come together. She's a cowgirl, a somatic experience healer, which we'll talk more about, and a psychotherapist who doesn't just talk about healing, she builds it, she walks it, and she lives it. Whether it's trauma, trust, or the quiet power of connection, Terra brings a presence that is both grounded and transformational. You're in for something real today. Terra, welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. I was just feeling like, wow, if we could have an introduction like that by someone into every day of our life, we would probably live our lives a lot differently, right? Like,
That's
whoa,
right.
thank you.
You're special. You know, when I had a chance to meet you on the farm, I said H3, H cubed. You have the power of the three H's: healing, heart, and horses.
Mhm.
Tara, I would love for you to tell me a little bit more about Hunkapi, how you started it, and what this means to you. What is at the heart of Hunkapi, and what Hunkapi offers?
Yeah. I say, and I think this sounds like a little ethereal, but I always say it was just fate that I landed here.
Mm,
And I think that's one thing that people forget to do is actually just follow their bliss, follow what makes them happy, and then something will come out of that, right? Like so many people come and they want to find their purpose or they want to find what they're supposed to be doing. And like all we're supposed to be doing is being happy and following this path of happiness, right? So
absolutely.
I I say I ended up here by fate. It took some things to get me here. I was employed by Arizona State University after wrapping up a 3-year research project investigating the effect of sport on children with special needs. And that researcher found that of all the sport interventions, horseback riding was the most positive intervention.
Okay.
And she was a sports psychologist. She happened to be working with my college boyfriend at the time, who had moved to Arizona to golf professionally. And lo and behold, thank goodness I had a good relationship with him because he said, "You want to launch a horse based program? You need to hire my ex girlfriend, Tara." And that is what brought me to Arizona. And so we were at the university for 10 years. And at that time, I didn't really know what horse therapy was. I was just a young girl who loved horses, who felt horses had changed her life and had to keep horses in her life. Or it was almost this sense that I wouldn't know who I was without them. I wouldn't know, I would die without them.
Mhm.
And here was this opportunity. I knew I'd trained at the professional level. I knew that industry was not for me. Um, but I loved horses still. And so I came down and eventually we left the university in the recession and launched Hunkapi and created my own nonprofit in 2008 and have been growing ever since. So, the program was founded in research. It was founded at the university. It was largely around working with children with special needs. But as I evolved, I got to go to graduate school basically free because we were at the university.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
it was a huge perk. Um, I landed in the hands of a graduate advisor who truly took me under her wing and basically said, "I will let you do whatever, follow your bliss." And I had never had a woman in my life or an adult in my life really that had told me that I could do that I could do anything I wanted. Everything in my past was don't do that. You're never going to make a living. You're going to fall out of love with horses. You're going to find boys. You need to do this. You need to do this. Everything was fear based. But here were two women that showed up in my life, and they were professors at ASU, and they just said, you can do anything you want to do.
Terra, I could listen to you for hours, but this is such an important point to make, right? Leading with that passion for you, healing horses, being able to incorporate what you've done and how to make an impact on community, on our overall society. And there's so much here, but following that passion, listening to people say, you can do this, and you feeling the power that you hold, that I can move forward and do something.
Yeah. So I get to pay that forward, right? Whether somebody is here, I can relate to those kids that come here. We serve equine assisted life skills, equine assisted psychotherapy, and regular counseling services, as well as therapeutic riding. I think the farm itself holds a special place in addition to those services, because the farm is healing in and of itself, and it's designed to feel that way.
I felt it. I felt
Yeah.
it. Well, like I and everybody that I've spoke to has felt it. So you're absolutely right. It's not just talk. It's feeling it when you walk there.
Yeah, and it's super intentional around that. Like, how can we create this space where people truly open their hearts, where their systems can settle just a little bit? Can they get away from it just a little bit? Can they feel into their own senses and connect and be mindful? And in that space, you're way more open to receive. You're more open for possibility. You're more open for curiosity, overcoming fears. So the whole place is designed like that. And I think it plays into all of the programs that we offer here, because I can relate to those kids that come in that are coming from abusive homes, that are coming from the poor homes. I can relate to those business people that are coming in. And the horses are this medium that truly allow us to say, can we put down every barrier or thought or judgment that we have and meet people exactly where they are in this state in their life, without expectation, and just holding space for them to grow into whatever it is.
It's so special. It's such a gift. But Terra, I want to pause because, we are fortunate, lucky, blessed, whatever we want to say, to be here in Arizona, where we have equine therapy, where we have horse therapy. But for people or the audience that doesn't know what horse therapy is, what equine, can you give us a brief description?
Yes. So equine therapy is working with a master's level therapist, or, PhD, whatever, a therapist in the arena, utilizing where a horse is present. I hate using the word utilizing a horse, because the horse is truly like my co-facilitator, but you have a horse in the arena with you doing exercises with the horse to reach treatment goals. So it's very therapeutic in nature. We are there to actually work clinically with someone. But how I feel about it is, I'm allowing the horse and the human connection, or the client connection, to tell me what it is that we really need to address.
That's right.
And for there to be metaphor created between the engagement between the client and the horse. And I'm there to serve as the mouth of the horse, right?
And you do a wonderful job. Connect this, because where I'm going to go with this is that somatic experience. So again, we're using language that not many people, or some people, may not be familiar with. So I experienced this firsthand. When I'm standing there with you, with the horse, you were able to help me see and experience what I'm thinking, feeling, bringing it into my body. I had a quick 5-minute therapy session that transformed my life.
Because a lot of people have these mystical ideas of what happens in equine therapy, and there is a level of something that we can never measure, but you just know it to be true, right? And the client knows it to be true. But it's so, because I think the horses are so intuitive. I see them time in and time, day after day, like they know exactly what that human needs. And I can't tell you what the horse is going to see. I can say, like, oh, this client's coming in with this diagnosis, and these are their stated treatment goals. I have a horse in mind for them, and then they might choose a totally different horse.
Absolutely. From your experiences, right? You have a lot of skill and knowledge that you can help match that up.
Yes.
But it's not until you're in the moment, right?
Right. And that's also a part of what we do here. And I encourage all of our facilitators to do is like, you have to get in the arena with these horses and know
Experience
them,
it.
like know what their superpower is.
Absolutely.
Because they all have a superpower.
I want to laugh because it almost sounds like making a new friend or dating, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You think you got an idea and I'm going to set you up with this person,
Yes.
but you have to experience
Yes.
it. The body language, the words.
All of it.
all
And then
of
there's
it.
the chemistry,
It's
right?
the chemistry.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I have
Yeah.
this great guy for you.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
But now when
don't
I'm
have
with
any
him,
chemistry.
right.
Yeah. there's no
Absolutely.
chemistry.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Let's see some
Okay, let's
horses.
go see. Okay, so let's just slow our feet down here. And I want you just to allow your eyes to take in what you're seeing right now. And what I also want you to notice is that everywhere that the horse's eyes are looking, their ears are pointed. So not only are they listening, but they're going to point their ears. So did you see the one with the eyeballs on its fly mask? She just looked at you. So look how far away like she just noticed that we're here. And she is saying, he feel okay. She went back to eating. So she's, what we can make up in our head is like, well, I better notice him.
Yeah.
And then, oh, he feels safe. Okay, I'm going to go back to
Right
eating.
now he feels
I wouldn't
safe.
they wouldn't resume normal horse behavior if you felt like a threat from right here. So as we walk in and towards the horses, I want for you just to begin to notice where your eyes go, where you might have impulse to move towards. Okay. Will. And then we're going to track how how the horses pick up on us.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm making note of that, but I'm also thinking, in general, here's a message for everyone. Think about how you present yourself too, and what you could be giving off, right? The energy, the vibe you give off to people, how you're coming in. You know, when people joke and say, oh gosh, this person's coming in guns blazing,
Yes.
right? You're coming in hot, what does that do to people around you and your communication style, or how aggressive or submissive or so my brain's thinking this is a whole other conversation, but how you present yourself and the energy you give off.
Yeah, in every room.
In every room.
There is no, and this is one of the things we talk about with the first responders, like day in and day out, how you're walking into a room, right, or meeting people, but also like think about like first responders and like every single day they are overriding their natural response to whatever they're seeing in front of them. Like nobody wants to go in and see the gore or the pain or the fire or whatever they're going into, but you have to override. And how can we pay attention to what this body is actually picking up, and what are we giving off? Because you can't every time you come close to a nervous system 10 feet away, your body is adjusting somehow.
Absolutely.
It's giving you information.
Especially if you're always coming from a place I'm on high alert, right? This or this or this, they're sending the message that I'm on high alert, so I'm going to be responding from that place.
Yeah, always.
We keep getting stuck because I have so many things I want to talk to you about. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
So let your eyes be eyes. So even notice how this horse just turned her ear towards you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And she's repositioning. The horse that's eating, his ear just went back on you.
Yeah, this is also teaching me to be, I like to think that I'm observant as a person, but this is really taking it to the next level.
Oh yeah, they're highly observant.
Right? I see their body, I may see, but I'm not paying close attention to the ears and the direction of the ears and the tails, the way they're moving their feet.
Yeah. So we can keep going again. And
You know, Terry, you're also teaching me or reminding me to take a second to pause, right? Opposed to just running right into them.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And bringing it back to my body, right? Not only what am I thinking, but what is this feeling? And I feel kind of peaceful, I feel at ease, but also putting all this together.
So from here, do you have a horse that you feel the most drawn to? There's a lot to choose from. You can go as far as the eye can see.
Of course, I want to go up to every single horse, but my eye keeps going between these two right here.
Okay.
And I'm not sure why.
So if you had to choose one, which one would you choose?
I would probably choose this horse because I feel like I don't want to interrupt him eating.
Ah.
Yeah.
So there's a thought.
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt.
I don't
him.
want to interrupt.
Uh-huh.
And this horse feels a little more open or welcoming right now.
Okay. And what is her behavior doing that is telling you that she's open or welcome?
Well, she was she was kind of facing,
Mhm.
looking toward.
She was.
Her appearance is, I feel more. It was more open over the gate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I see her ears moving all around, like she's curious and trying to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if I were to ask you, does that ever show up in any other areas of your life where you say, I don't want to interrupt?
Absolutely. Oh my God, I'm getting some free therapy, Tara. I'm getting some free therapy, y'all. Absolutely, yeah. Whether it's, family, whether it's husband, people are busy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be cautious, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to respect your time and boundaries, but I'm also not wanting to interrupt what's happening.
Okay. And so is it to benefit them, or is that when you say I don't want to, is it a sense of like what I have isn't important enough to interrupt you, or is it that you want to respect
A little bit of
other
both.
people's time?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Probably from things or conversations that happen. So
Mm-hmm.
I may be on high alert, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it may be it's clearly more about me,
Mm-hmm.
but also information that I've gotten. Sometimes I may just run and share too much,
Mm.
and it may be inappropriate. So I'm like, oh gosh, let's take a step back.
Okay, so at some point you've received that message.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And that's neither, when we talk about these things, I always say it's neither good nor bad, but it's really important to know these things
Mm-hmm.
about our approach to people and what thoughts come in
Mm-hmm.
that pause our feet or have us choose a different person,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or a different horse. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
And I would say he's saying, you're not interrupting me.
Not at all. I almost got some tears in my eyes. Wow. That's powerful. I mean, what would take people maybe weeks or months to uncover in therapy? I just feel like so many thoughts and emotions came to me.
Yeah.
This is pretty amazing.
And look at now, where's his head?
Yeah. I mean, they're facing toward me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, now you have your choice.
Yes. So the next step here is
Choose.
walk up to them.
Which one? Yeah.
Okay.
Good. There you go. So I might pause. So now we're going to really watch his body language and notice how his nostrils started. So now he's using his senses, and he's
smelling me.
Yeah. So we had our opportunity from a little bit further back to size him up, right? And now he wants to size you up. So, oh, wow.
What does that mean?
That seems eager.
Okay.
So I would just walk towards him one step at a time and notice if anything in his body changes so that he's guiding how fast he wants you to approach him too. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So one step at a time. Good. And another step. Go. Oh. And another step. And another step. There you go.
This is amazing. Amazing.
What's he saying to you now about the interruption?
He's here for it. He's welcoming. He's okay.
Yeah.
It's safe. Right?
I have time.
I have time. You're not bothering me.
Yeah. You're worth leaving my food for.
Absolutely. I've been here before, and I've just walked up to these horses. And this was such a different experience, right? Because I was more I was more in tune with what's happening with me, what's happening with them. Mind, body, as it just in those few minutes.
Yeah.
And the connection, right? Which I feel pretty good about with humans and being able to connect and energy that people give off. But this was just so, it just took it to another level, but more about me.
Yeah. He wants more.
Can you speak to that somatic experience there?
So in somatics, we believe that the body holds all the information of the history of the client. And so as a somatic practitioner, I'm watching the patterns of movement in the body and asking the client to observe mindfully with conscious awareness, bring into conscious awareness what is happening, what's the pattern of behavior. So when the horse walked close to you, what happened to your feet? Most people are just moving and they don't understand what happened if their feet shuffled to the side, went backwards, paused. They don't understand that. So what happened to your face? Like when the horse came close to you, what happened to your face? I don't know. Did it smile? Did it frown? Like what can we bring into conscious awareness and tracking what's happening in the body? Then can we link that to a thought? Can we link that to a sensation? Can we link it to a thought? Can we link it to a story? Because there's something that usually, if we slow things down enough, we are going to get to the place where we can understand.
That's okay. People, listen, this is still on a farm. So we have dogs, we have donkeys, we have horses.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So can we begin to link whatever's happening in the body to a thought, a feeling, or a story? And sometimes, a lot of times, what we'll find is, oh, there's the pattern of thought. Oh, oh my gosh, that actually, one thing it might be very common for me to say is, when's the first time you remember feeling that? And they'll go, oh my gosh, I was 3.
And Terra, I'm going to insert my story because just to give the audience a visual, when I'm standing there, if you go, you may be a little hesitant, or in my case, you may run right up to the horses and want to touch and see them. Terra allowed me to stand there for a second and slow down. That's what you're describing. James, what are you noticing when you're looking at the horses? What are you noticing within yourself? And I uncovered a moment of not wanting to interrupt the horses as they were possibly eating. I was noticing not just what was happening in my mind and body, what was happening with the horses. You then made me think, gosh, you don't want to interrupt. Where does that come from? Boom, you blew my mind, Terra. And that's therapy for another day, but it was a quick session and not only allowed me to slow down, but I was also attuning, aligning, and connecting with these horses. And I felt the power. I felt the magic of what was happening. It's almost hard to describe. I'm just trying to give more of a visual. Instead of just standing there looking at a horse, there were a few different things happening at once.
And then also just remember that as you brought that, and we know this from psychotherapy, right? Like we learned this even in basic graduate school of like, as soon as you give a name to an emotion, it deactivates the emotion, right? It doesn't have as much charge around it. So in that situation, the horse was eating, you said, I don't want to interrupt him. And we had a brief conversation around that. And then that horse turned around and squared up to you. Right. So it's like, as soon as we can actually be very present with that barrier, that fear, that emotion that's coming up, that's holding us back, then the horses are freaking brilliant. I can't do that. It wasn't me who did that. It was the horse that intuited that.
It was insane. So I'm talking about, a level of almost a surface. Well, no, actually, it happened so fast and it was powerful for me. We're talking about interruption. The reality is people are coming in here with some significant traumas, with abuse. The work that you're doing, I mean, I can't imagine how transforming, how healing it can be.
Yeah, it's special.
And you're behind
that. It's an honor. It's an honor. It's really special.
Terra, I have so many questions. I'm going to just start with a few fun ones, but also informative. I'm curious if horses were therapists, what would be their number one technique?
Their number one technique. Oh my gosh, Oh my gosh. Their number one technique would be until you decide to get honest.
Say more.
I've just seen them so many times of like this, just this nonchalant standoff
Mm.
until people are ready to truly just get super real with their feelings, and then they are just there, right?
Yeah.
Like they're just like,
Yes.
whenever you're ready.
You know what's so fascinating as you say that, the parallels to just humans, and wouldn't it be amazing if we can have that in our relationships as well?
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
If horses could talk.
Actually, they do. Okay,
Okay, okay,
for
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
average person,
Yeah. What do you think they say about the humans that come through here?
oh my gosh, that they love them. They would say, drop it at the gate.
Drop it at the gate. I'm thinking of my own personal work. One of the things, and I love that you said that, because when we carry so much, I talk about leave it at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I take it a step further, thinking about mind body experience. I say, I want you to touch the door handle, right? If there's a coat hanger, I want you to touch that, leave it here.
Mm-hmm.
So amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it at the gate.
Yeah.
It's almost interesting how animals sometimes know us better than we know ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these horses are a testament to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Truly. And I also think that that's one of the things that I try to, I mean, healing can be hard for sure when you're in the trenches, but I think that there is a lightness about working, there's a comfort and a lightness about working with the horses where you get to land on something so pleasant and positive when you're working with them, even when you're doing the hardest stuff. Like you're just met with so much love and like, hooray, you finally did it. And I'm right here and I'm going to be nuzzled up with you. And
They teach us 100% presence. They demand 100% presence.
And I just felt that. I felt that in the moment walking with them. I was just taken right to that space where I paused, I stopped, and I was in the moment and I was present with them. They taught me that in that second. Yeah.
It's they will accept nothing less.
There's definitely something, I wouldn't expect audiences to understand this because they haven't been here. But if you are here in Arizona, hit me up and I will bring you with us, or we'll talk because I would love for everyone to experience this. As I said to you there, I wish this was in every city and community. There is a calming presence. When I walked in, I was telling you, sometimes I get anxious. What questions am I going to ask? I'm going to sit down with Terra. I want to make sure I say the right thing. Terra, I opened up the gate. I got out of my car and it almost melted away it did melt away from seeing the horses, the animals, the dogs. Whether you are an animal lover or not, there is an energy. And then, of course, you come out. It all just melted away. And I was able to be there, slow down, and be in the moment.
Thank you.
To me, that was so special.
What a compliment. Thank you.
Tara, talk to me more about this whole slogan: open heart, fear less, love more. I'd love to know, what's one way that people can start doing that today?
I really believe that if people can start to get into the practice of just taking a few moments a day, and if you take a few moments a day, it will turn into many moments a day, and then it will turn into almost always aware of it, where our t-shirts say open your heart, and that is what we aim to do in every encounter that we have here. So when the body is in response to a threat, whether real or perceived, the body literally begins to close the heart space. So there's a contraction and a protection over the heart space, over the vital organs here. And so if people can just begin to check in and notice their posturing, like are my shoulders hunched? Are they back? Is there a knot in my stomach? Am I guarded here? Is there activation? Is my respiration up? Like what's just from my shoulders down to my navel doing? Then if we can do 2 check-ins a day, 3 check-ins a day, that would take less than a minute each, and
Mm.
just notice
Just
what is happening inside of there. Is it open or is it closed? And then can I track a thought that, like, what would have happened that would have caused my shoulders to go up or to contract? Like, what happened to do this? Then we can begin to know, is that real or is that not real? Is that past or is that current? And we can begin to move in a way where we can be aware of when we're in a threat response and if it's real and how we might respond to it. And we can also say, oh, that isn't, actually there's nothing here to actually be nervous about, right? Like you were coming in our gates with your head going, 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 right? And then all of a sudden you felt this like, like I actually don't, this can be organic. This can be
yeah.
authentic. This can be off the cuff, and we're going to have plenty to talk about. And
Mm.
so when we can do that, then that will begin to change the way people engage with one another.
Yeah, just notice and be. Well, you take it to the next level too, because I work with clients and we talk about this, as you said, how to start your day. I always talk about the $1 million question. What do I need? And I
Mm-hmm.
always say, like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I want you to check in with yourself and ask yourself, what do you need? And as you're describing this, not just what do I need, but noticing, am I opened or closed? I feel like I saw a video where someone said starting the day with the Superman pose and shoulders back, head out, what you feel and what the energy does to you.
Power pose. Yes. Yeah.
Power pose, but you're taking it to the next level. Not only am I doing this physically, power posing, but I'm thinking open, closed, where am I? And I can bring that into relationships. I can bring that into different conversations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
can see, and I'm hoping everyone can see how they can use this and hopefully, maybe have some healing and transforming on their own.
Mm-hmm. I found my husband by tracking.
I have to hear this. Give me the Cliff Notes version of that.
Yeah, I mean, we went on a date and I was like, man, this is really what it's supposed to feel like. Like everything in my body just feels super relaxed. Like it feels easy for him to be around me. We dated twice. It went nowhere. We thought, like, I was like, okay, he's just not into me. But it was very confusing because my body felt like I was like, it's supposed to feel this easy. Like it's literally like there was no difference between his skin and my skin. Like it was just in flow, right? Coherence or whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
And then we built up over the course of a year this idea that we were friends, right? And then at one point in the Boston Marathon, he decided that he loved me and he wanted to date me, and so then he came over for dinner, and it was planned in his mind that he was going to tell me that he loved me and that he didn't want to be friends and that he wanted to be with me, but he hadn't told me yet. And he also was sitting next to me with a couple of friends sitting across the table from us, and he went to tell the story about the Boston Marathon, and he touched my back, and I was like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to touch me.
Yeah.
Like we're friends. And because there had been just like these very artificial fake boundaries put between us.
Interesting. Okay.
And then I just sat there and I was like, just feel into the hand and just feel if you actually are putting barriers up in your head because of it's been a year since you actually ever went on your first date. And I was like, no, it actually feels good for his hand to be there. Right. And
Bring me
so
back to the moment. Yes,
mhm,
it's sitting
mhm.
here because I'm glad you're saying this. I've actually been seeing so many little videos on TikTok where people will show themselves dating and getting lost in the thoughts or the anxiety. Should I be doing this? What is he thinking? Oh my God, is he judging me? Just sit here and feel and notice.
Just feel and notice, if does your body open? I mean, does your body open when you're around them? You can use this. We use it all the time with victims of abuse or things, because they don't trust what's happened. They don't trust their own intuition. Their safety is completely skewed, right? So your body is going to tell you if it feels safe or if it's a memory coming up. There's a disconnect between what's happening in here and what's happening in here. So can you
Here,
begin
let's use that. I want to, because this
Mhm.
is that somatic experiencing that you're talking about in this work. What, for people that are listening, what's one body cue that people may often ignore that actually says a lot?
I can give you 5.
Oh, okay.
Jaw clenching.
Mm,
If you have TMJ or your teeth are grinding down, something's going on.
okay.
Fisting up, tapping of the foot
Mm,
underneath of the table.
ooh,
Usually somebody in flight response doesn't want to be there.
ooh.
Shortness of breath, ulcers.
Oh, you're giving these away. People are going to pick up on these now, and they're going to know.
Mhm.
Give me another one.
Wrinkles between the brow here.
Wow.
Mhm. Headaches,
What do you do with it?
shoulder pain.
I
Mhm.
notice it. I'm seeing these things. I got the clenching jaw, the brows. What's the next step you say to someone?
Let's go with clenching fist, because that's
Okay.
pretty common, or even, or no, actually, let's go with tapping leg, because now you're going to notice how many people tap their leg.
Yeah.
And actually, you'll also begin to notice what effect it has on you when people have a tapping leg. Like I'm very somatically sensitive, so I can feel other people's bodies, what they're doing when I'm
I
sitting
have
next
some
to
friends
them.
like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my husband was a big leg tapper. And I finally looked at him and I was like, dude, what's going on with that leg? And he didn't even know he was doing it. A lot of
Right.
people don't know that they're tapping their leg. But like if you were just sitting here, it's impossible to make your leg tap like that without an energetic uh impulse inside of the body, right? You can't just tap your leg if
So
you
what do you say or what do you do?
so I'll say, I don't want you to stop it. I just want you to notice it. And I just want you to notice, like, see if it's coming. Where is the impulse coming from to tap the leg? And usually it's either in the toe, it can start in the knee, the toe, or the thigh somewhere, or up in the hip. And it's really important to notice what part of the leg or the toe or the foot that the tapping starts from. And with the tapping leg, people can usually find the starting point. And so I'll say, so just notice it and then just see if, like, could you go? Like, where would you rather be right now?
Mm.
And they might say, I'd rather be in my room underneath of my covers, or I'd rather be out of this meeting, or I'd rather not be in this conversation.
And then what?
Okay. Yeah. So we need to find, it's a flight response. It's coming up in the body. The person doesn't want to be there. And so if you can just acknowledge, like, there must be something about this situation that feels threatening to you. And I'm pretty blatant like that, because I'm a somatic experience
Yeah.
practitioner. So I'm going to say threat, non-threat, threat, non-threat. And
Yeah.
threat can mean it can be it can be confusing for people, because people think like, oh, I'm not under fire right now, but like there's something that your body is perceiving as a threat right now. And so where would you need to go where that leg could stop tapping? And they might say a beach, or they might say, I'd rather not be having this conversation. Okay, so how about if you just go away from the conversation for just a minute, and then when you feel ready, you can come back into the conversation and just see what happens in the leg. And it's amazing, like, when people realize that there's actually something going on behind the leg tapping, and you give them permission to flight away, that flight leaves. And there builds more capacity to come in and have that conversation that they perceived as so scary, or that
This
whatever it is.
this is a clip, Terry. This is almost like magic. It's a miracle. This clip needs to be played over and over because it's a script to how to work somebody through this.
Mhm.
Thank you for giving us
Yeah.
this insight. To me, this is I'll say nothing less. It's a miracle, right? To be able to have
Mhm.
somebody, again, bringing them back that somatic experience
Mhm.
in their brain, in their mind and body, connecting the
Mhm.
two, understanding
Mhm.
what's going on for them.
Mhm. And I think as a therapist, right? Like if I have people that are in my groups that are their leg is tapping, I say I might just draw attention to the leg, and I don't want you to feel self-conscious about it at all because the body is doing everything right now to protect itself. And so
Yeah.
that's giving me a clue that there's something about what I'm doing right now or this group is doing or something going on in your life that is making it difficult for you to sit in this group. Could you go anywhere else on this farm? Could you scoot your chair back 10 feet and would your legs stop tapping? And we just experiment with it. And it's amazing. Like if they just can scoot their chair back 3 inches or 10 feet or whatever, and all of a sudden their leg will stop tapping. I'll say, do you see like how amazing is it that your body was giving you that information? It's
So what do you
so
say to them for the
magical.
follow-up? Okay, now we're not together. You don't have me looking at you and noticing you. You know,
Mhm.
fast forward, you're with another friend, you're on a date, you're in the movie, whatever. What do they do then?
So they would bring awareness to their own leg tapping, and then they could, I would say, start noticing and tracking to thought. Maybe they are afraid. Maybe this person is actually giving them the heebie jeebies and they want to run out of there.
Yeah.
Maybe they're having a memory of a past date and they need to know that they have a memory of a past date. Right. And so they can say, oh, that's a past date. That's not this current date. So can I just allow this to,
I'm safe.
um, yeah, I'm safe. I'm actually safe. This is past.
This is
So
past.
link it to what is actually going on, the story, the picture, the thought. I'm not smart enough to talk to this person,
Yes.
or they're gonna leave me, or I'm too afraid to fall in love, or I'm not lovable, or like there's so many things that can be attached that are internal
Go
belief
a little
systems.
further. Yes, go a little further because I see people that are sitting with these behaviors and they're just like, "Oh, I'm anxious," right? And they just let it go. But to be able to have, as I tell everyone in therapy, step one, awareness.
Yeah.
I'm aware that my body's doing this, that my thoughts are going there. Now the step following that, right? Step two, part B is challenging
Yeah.
and where I'm going to go with that and having
Mhm.
not just the awareness, but how I can work
Mhm.
myself through that.
Mhm.
This is brilliant.
Mhm. Mhm.
Tara, what are the top two moments that you've witnessed there at Hunkapi where you thought, this is healing?
Top 2
Top
moments.
one, top two, something that
So
comes,
many.
I'm sure.
Well, I've had some teens that are in the uh, DCS system that are living in group homes, no parents, getting ready to transition, a group of teen girls. And we had brought a horse in that was from the kill pen who had, obviously a lot of abuse and trauma.
Mhm.
I asked 2 girls to go in and catch this horse, and the horse, walked away from them and then, didn't wanna put her head in the halter, and so they again, I said, "So, when she walks away from you, what's her body doing? Walks away from you, what happens? What thoughts do you have? What happens inside of you? She doesn't want me, she doesn't like me." Okay, so, we're smart enough to know that those thoughts would be, inherent in someone who has been abandoned, right? And I said, I wonder if we could just change the approach and see what happens. And so instead of chasing her, I wonder if you could just come up from underneath of her. Like, how would you feel if somebody was walking towards you like this? Could you come up from underneath of her? And so they began to change their approach with the halter, and the horse let them put the halter on. And then not only did she do that, but she snuggled up with these girls.
Wow.
And the horse had only been at the farm for, I think, for 2 weeks and had come direct out of the kill pen. And the one of the girls started tearing up, and she said, "Miss Tara, this gives me so much hope that if Adira can heal from everything that she's been through, that I too can heal." So that
This,
was amazing.
and it highlights the work that you do, the work that we do, how important it is, how much it matters. People need this in their lives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
100%.
powerful.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, Tara, for people at home, that may not have horses, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's a top tool or some top tools for working through trauma? for somebody that may be emotionally overwhelmed?
Hmm.
Some
Well, if
Mhm.
you don't have horses, and not many people do, I think it is so important to ask your body to move, to really get connected with your body, because your body is the keeper of all the secrets.
Yeah.
So going out on a walk, and I even with when people are having symptoms of deep depression, right? Wherever there's isolation, there is just slower motivation, no motivation. Like, can you at least go outside and walk? And can you bring awareness to the walk? Can you begin to bring awareness to how the heel strikes, the toe strikes, to the breathing, and really begin to understand the
Yes.
sacredness of that, right?
That's the
Because
difference.
there's something mindfully walking,
My
sacredly
that's
walking.
what it is. Because I was gonna say, I think there's something what I hear you describing is this almost level of grounding yourself, right? These
Yes.
grounding exercises, but you took it to the next level, which I appreciate because not just saying movement's important. Get outside, or even if you can't get outside, walk around the counter of your house, but you're taking it to the next level, mindfully walking,
Mhm. Yeah.
noticing what's happening, right?
Yes. Yeah. Bring awareness to what your skin is feeling. Like, we start with the skin. So let's bring awareness to the skin. And so if your skin is in a pair of shoes, it's walking. If you have a fuzzy blanket, bring awareness to that fuzzy blanket. And we get to begin this pendulation, as we would say, towards something pleasant, because
Yeah.
sometimes life sucks. Sometimes it just does. And sometimes
Yeah.
we go through hard things and we can get stuck in the vortex of that. And so if we can begin to pendulate, find something that brings a eighth of a smile, like, never mind the half smile. Let's get to an eighth of a smile,
Baby
right?
steps, let's start somewhere.
Right. And bring awareness to a soft blanket. Bring awareness to when your hand, notice how your own body is tending to yourself. Like, and in somatics, we also believe that there's a reason that you're alive.
Yes.
Your body has kept you alive for some reason. So let's find how it did that.
I'm glad you're saying that you're reminding all these little tidbits are coming in. I remember it's like a shaman experience or a shaman practice where people will put their hands over their hearts,
Mhm.
right? And I'm thinking about this in that moment just to bring that awareness, not just like
Yes.
I'm literally bringing my hands, they're covering my heart. What am I noticing? What am I feeling?
Yes.
There's something special
Yes.
about
Yes. Yeah. The body is always tending. I know that a lot of times you'll begin to notice, and these are something as a somatic experience practitioner we really point out, is these tending behaviors. Like when somebody's rubbing their neck right here, rubbing their chest, rubbing their hands together, rubbing their legs, like that is a tending behavior
and
to
what does
bring.
tending behavior say?
Tending means like when you are in a state of negative activation, that there's the body is going to counter it. The nervous system is
Self-soothe.
going to counter it to soothe. And so we want to bring awareness when you say, like, my body's failing me, the whole world is failing me, my life is falling apart, I just want to die. I don't, like, there's something that has kept you
And that,
alive. And let's bring feel the warmth of your
yes,
hands. Like, how does this, what does this feel like when you do this? What does it
observe what's happening.
feel like?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're making me think of the next step. My next question would be, what does healing actually feel like in the body? Or what can you say healing, what does it look like when it starts happening? How can someone notice healing is happening?
Mm. Um, Less bracing,
Mm,
more openness throughout the chest, more engagement with people naturally, right? We
mhm.
move into this more community response. Um, the ability to take a deeper breath, the
It can
ability
be
to
what you're saying.
smile.
Yeah, I was going to say, it can be subtle. It can be small. Let's not
You
overlook those moments.
You have to we say you have to notice them and you have to land them. You have to land them and you have to integrate them so that that's hope, right?
Yeah.
Like, if just for a moment there's a sparkle that comes into somebody's eye, or the slightest rounding of the lip, like, we get this opportunity to notice when there's just that tiniest bit of reach out, the tiniest bit of an upward change in the lip, and we say, "Look, I see you smiling. I see you trying. Bravo.
So
Right?
important because we often want to see big, huge changes, right? Those
Yeah.
big moments, and we need to take a step back and recognize it's those small, subtle things that are just as important, and they let us know we're gaining momentum, and we're on our way to the big part.
100%. Yeah.
I want to ask the top 5 that I ask everybody when they come through here.
Okay.
These are some fun, silly, playful questions.
Those are my favorite kinds. Okay.
What brings you joy lately?
What brings me joy is these new cookies that I made with coconut sugar, because I've been trying to not eat white sugar.
Okay.
Actually, I was very successful in not eating white sugar, but they were like this thing that just curbed that. And I was like, okay, I can make it through this if I just have these cookies.
That's right up my alley, because
with
I love
salt on the top.
Oh, coconut salt, a cookie. I'm here for it.
Uh-huh.
I'm here.
Yeah, it was amazing.
What song, Terra, makes you want to dance?
Pink Pony Club.
How appropriate. I love it. I love it. A food, a guilty snack, your favorite comfort food?
Oh, wow. My coffee.
Coffee. Okay.
It's not unashamedly coffee every single day.
Okay.
It's the one thing that I have never stopped. Like nothing's getting in the way of my
I wish
coffee.
I could say that, right? If that's the worst of it. Like chocolate cake and coffee. Okay,
no,
good for you. What grounds you?
Sugar, my horse.
100%. What about sugar?
She has taught me so much about the power of the breath. She's taught me to accept her as the matriarch, to not be in control, that she has to share control with me. That was a big lesson for me. And anytime I'm not in that space of like either trying to force her to do something or not present, she's just like, I have your back. I know you have my back, but I also have yours. And can you receive that?
Yes. God, I wish everybody could have a horse.
I know.
I mean, the lessons that you professionally and personally that you have, that you can speak on. I mean, not many people have that. This is a real gift.
That's why we got to get it out into the world.
Absolutely. If there was one book that you could gift to somebody, what book would you gift?
That's a hard one. I would gift The Four Agreements.
The Four Agreements. It's a great book.
Yeah, simple.
Simple to the point. Lots of wisdom in there.
Yes. Yeah, and you can remember them. Actually, I can remember 3, but usually the 4th.
That's okay. I don't
What
want
book
to
would you give?
Mine right now, it's always been, and I still think, The Alchemist.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah?
We literally have this farm because of The Alchemist.
Really? I mean, like, I get chills every time I think of it. And
it's one of those, I actually want to reread it because it depends on what's going on in my life. Like you can pick up a book, and I gifted that to everyone for Christmas one year because it was just like, it was so life-changing for me. I love the line in there, like I couldn't find a home for this program. I just kept getting like rejected, decline. And there's a line in that book where he says, you need to turn yourself into the wind.
Yes.
And I was like, I came in, I got a decline, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to turn myself into the wind. And
it's a moving book, right? And fun and light to read.
Yes.
Sometimes people think of like self-improvement, or these books can be so much and heavy or overwhelming. It was such a fun book to read.
I was almost gonna, I was like, it's between that one and The Four Agreements.
We're right here. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Terra, thank you. Thank you for sharing these experiences. Thank you for giving us these tools and this insight. It highlights how you have a special gift. It highlights how clearly the education and the knowledge, the skills, but it takes a certain person to be able to do this. It takes a certain person and their energy to be able to help someone heal.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for letting me challenge my words outside of a having a horse right there next to me.
Which is beautiful. Again, listen, you guys, I experienced firsthand sitting, talking with Terra, asking her some questions. This is a nice mixed interview between how we're doing this now and seeing there.
Tara, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, it
I
was so fun.
appreciate-
Come back
thank you.
again.
I absolutely will. Maybe even as a volunteer.
It was incredible to talk
You
about it.
can see and feel the space and the love that you have, and not just the energy. Sorry, I got like dust and horsehair and dog hair on.
Yeah.
But what you have to offer, and I can see and feel the power of how it affects, the most important part, how it affects other people that come in. No matter your diagnosis, no matter your trauma, what you in this place is able to do for people. And that means the world. Thank you for what you do, seriously.
Yeah, it's a special thing that I get to be here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Want to be a guest on Living Life with James? If you got a story or a message that you feel can inspire or help others, message me through my website or DM me on Instagram. I'd love to connect.